Welcome back. Hope you had a good spring break. I know a lot's been going on during spring break, and a lot of schools are closing schools, and some colleges aren't even holding classes, and they're doing online lessons. Well, we partially do online lessons now, where most of you take notes at home. Okay. Some of you end up having to do when you come in class, but in the event you have to, we need to come up with a way that we can actually continue with our classes because we still have the FSA coming in May. So I'm going to go ahead and send it this weekend, and somebody that want to do it this way over the weekend can start practicing it. And if you do finish it, then you'll be done with lesson one, and you can do I ready while everybody else that didn't do it over the weekend will be doing the lesson. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, you take your lesson notes just like normal. If you complete the note, when you complete the notes, have your parent or yourself take a picture of it and send it to me in Dojo so I can see your notes. After you do your notes, if you go log on to Ed site, there will be a assignment there for lesson 6, module 1 problem set. Go ahead and practice the problem set. Now, once you get done with the problem set, there is an exit ticket there. Now, if you feel real comfortable with the problem set, go ahead and do the exit ticket. Okay. Now, on Monday, I'm going to be showing some of you how to use Zoom. Zoom is a platform where we can actually have some face-to-face time on the computer where if you needed help, I could set a certain time aside and you could log on and we could talk and I could show you anything if you had some problems. Okay. But for this weekend, just try doing the notes, do the problem set, and the exit ticket on the Ed site, and we'll see how it goes. All right. Well, let's get started. Welcome to Module 6, Lesson 1. Our lesson objective is always to be able to construct a coordinate system on a line. Now, you've done lines before. We're just going to see how that works with a coordinate system now. Now, here's the standard. It's use a pair of perpendicular number lines called axes to define a coordinate system, with the intersection of the lines, which is the origin, arranged to coincide with 0 on each line, and a given point in the plane located by using an ordered number of pairs, called its coordinates. Understand that the first number indicates how far to travel through the origin to the direction of one axis, and the second number indicates how far to travel in the direction of the second axis, with a convention of names of the two axes and the corresponding XY axis. Okay, that's a lot. Basically, we're going to learn how to use the x-axis first, and you're always talking about how far you're going away from the origin. So let's talk about some of these definitions that was in the standard. First off, perpendicular. Like when we're measuring right angles, 90 degrees. That means you have two lines that form an angle of 90 degrees, and they meet. Okay, so the two lines meet, and at the place they meet, that would be the origin. Now, each one of these lines is known as an axis, and that there is a fixed reference line for the measurement of the coordinates. And we'll be talking more about that. Now, the origin is a fixed point from which coordinates are measured, as where axes intersect. Okay, and we'll see an example of that shortly. A plane is a flat surface on which a straight line joining any 2 points on it would wholly lie. And you'll see a plane, not so, we're going to see it a little bit in this lesson, but more in lesson 2. All right, so here is a line, okay? Now, this line is going horizontally, but it could go vertically, it could go diagonally, it doesn't matter. It's just a line. Now, the line has a starting point, and that's going to be called our origin. Remember, the origin is where it starts. Now, it does us no good to know just where it starts and finishes. We need to know how far away it is from that origin. And that's why the origin is 0, but then we need some kind of markings to show us. It's kind of like a ruler, right? Now, right here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 marks on it. Now, if I were to number them, it'd be 1 through 4. And that works well if that is right on the line. And I would say that is 3 units away from the x-axis, because the x-axis is the horizontal axis. Now, what if it was here? Well, I know you're going to say is 2.5 away, but that's where we'd end up needing the different hashes. Okay. Now that does us well unless it is once again in between those two. So we went from wholes to halves. What's the next one going to be? Quarters. Exactly. Now, a standard ruler will split those in half again to be eighths, and we'll split it one more again to 16ths to 30 seconds. Okay. We're not going to go any further than quarters at this time. Okay. Now, in here, we would be saying that the green dot is 1 3/4 units away from the x-axis, from the origin on the x-axis. The red dot would be 2.5 units away from the origin on the x-axis, and the blue dot is 3 units away from the origin on the x-axis. All right. Now, one of the things we have to do is we have to be able to determine what the units between are. Oops. There we go. Had to find my pen. Now, in this one, the only way you can find the units, you want to see how much a unit of 1 is separated, or any of the 2 units. So I can see here I've got 1, 2, 3. Each hole is split up into 3 sections, so this one here would obviously be thirds. Okay. So now that I know these are thirds, if I go to 2, I know this is 1/3 and this is 2/3. So the star would be 2 2/3 from the origin on the x-axis. Now, how about this one? What does this one split up into? Well, let's count them. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 units away from the x-axis. That means they're going to be fifths. That'd be 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and 5/5. So on this one, when I count it again, see there'd be 1 1/5, 1 2/5, and 1 3/5. So this one would be 1 3/5 on the x-axis away from the origin. Okay. Now, where does this one lie? Well, I think y'all are saying quarters, okay? But if you notice, some of you probably said this was 3, probably said it was 3 1/4. But unfortunately, look where our origin is at. Our origin on this side. So in all actuality, we're going this way. 1, 2, and 3. And they're quarters, because you're right, because this here would be 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. So over here, that'd be 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. So this is actually 2 3/4 from the origin on the x-axis. Now see that on a number line, it doesn't always have to go from left to right. It can go right to left, okay? So you always want to pay attention to which way the numbers are going. All right. So in this lesson, we basically just dealt with the x-axis. That's the horizontal axis, known as like a regular line, okay? And we're trying to determine how far away from the origin that a specific spot would be, okay? In lesson 2, we'll be going into the y-axis. Instead of just dealing with a coordinate on a line, we'll be actually dealing with a coordinate on a plane, and we'll explain that in lesson 2. So now, if you're ready, go ahead and go to EdSite, try the problem set. If you feel well with the problem set, go ahead and do the exit ticket. If you feel like you have some problems with the exit ticket, we'll sit there and we'll take a look at it on Monday when we get in class. All right? All right. See everybody on Monday. Bye-bye.